When you own a brand new home with a blank slate backyard,
There's not much there. It's pretty boring.
it takes some elbow grease to give it that lived-in look.
Awesome. We're so
excited.
I've been helping homeowners improve their home for a lot of years. They think it's intimidating, but it actually can be a lot of fun.
And we're here to help.
There you go.
Dad's the expert, but I've learned a few things along the way.
Practical, realistic home improvement information is what today's homeowner is all about.
Tom and Lauren moved into this new house in a new development with their son, John Thomas, about 6 months ago.
We love that the neighborhood's brand new and there's not a lot of work to do to the inside of the house, but we want the backyard to feel cozy, like some trees and some flower beds.
Yeah, the backyard is just a completely blank slate. It's nice and flat and level, but there's not much there. It's pretty boring.
All the houses are less than a year old, so there's not much to any of the backyards yet. We're still all kind of in the same spot. Since we already have the hand-me-down swing set, we're getting that cleaned up first so John Thomas has something to do outside, and then we wanted to work on the entertaining space, and we'll work on landscaping after that.
Yeah, it is kind of a blank slate out here. Plenty to work with.
It sure is.
Now, what about the patio?
We can even call that a patio.
Yeah, it's really cramped. We've kind of discovered there's a lot of limitations to that space.
Well, what do you think? I mean, a natural thought would be just to extend it out with more concrete.
We looked into that, yeah. We looked into concrete or pavers.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Either
Well,
one.
pavers is a nice contrast because it'll go along with concrete.
Right.
It goes along with your bricks.
Yeah,
It
that's
just,
true.
I don't know, it's a rich kind of a look to it.
Yeah.
Now, I would imagine out here in the middle of August with no trees, it could get a little warm.
It was a very
Yes.
hot summer, yes, because he wants to be outside all day. John Thomas is very busy.
Yeah, we pretty much sat out in the heat in a folding chair and watched him run around the entire summer.
Yes.
So maybe some kind of shade to break up the sun.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Building an arbor or a pergola that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you can go from there with plants and
Oh,
that
yeah.
type of thing.
That would be awesome.
A lot of times we'll recommend using a landscape designer to give you somewhat of a master plan or an
Okay.
overall look, kind of keep it modest, but still a good way to ensure that whatever you plant will all go together.
Sid Sexton is a local landscaper we've worked with before, and he's great at helping homeowners develop long-term plans for their property.
We get a lot of calls for coming in and upgrading the builder package, if you will. Danny gave me a little bit of an idea of what you were looking for, but why don't you tell me what you'd like to see back here?
We're gonna get an outdoor living space with a pergola and a patio. We just need your help with where to put some trees and some planters. We love to garden.
So it sounds like we're creating an outdoor room. So what I want to do is create some surrounding on the sides so it feels like an outdoor living space. You mentioned trees, and I think that's a really good idea to maybe shut down the backyard and give you the sense of privacy while you're in this neighborhood. We selected a few trees that are relatively inexpensive, grow relatively fast, and do pretty well in this area.
In the future, when Tom and Lauren's budget allows, Sid's plan will also specify other additions like more trees and a raised vegetable garden. Once the patio materials from paved stone arrive, we're ready to start laying out our project.
What I want to do is to center it pretty much
On the patio.
on the patio.
Okay.
And then my eye will tell us what the square.
My
see,
eye.
see,
Oh boy.
see.
It's gonna be a nice looking patio, y'all.
The stakes and string mark the straight lines of the patio, but we'll use marking paint for the curved lines of the planting beds. Maybe.
Seems clear, doesn't it?
It does, I don't see it. I wasn't really sure if I was missing something or not.
Oh my gosh. Look, it actually is clear.
Oh my gosh.
That's hilarious.
I've never heard of clear marking paint.
I just couldn't believe that. I don't even understand why that would exist.
It's not marking paint if it's clear.
Clearly, this marking paint isn't gonna work for us. I just wanna know, who does it work for?
Fortunately, we have some regular spray paint too, but before we start digging, we're going to sharpen our shovels with a belt sander.
These things are gonna get quite the workout.
I like this. It's like we're working smarter, not harder.
Well, I knew we were gonna have to do a lot of shoveling. Wow.
Sharpen this.
So a sharp shovel is better than a dull shovel.
You can say that about people too.
Yes, you could.
We're gonna need more hands for these shovels too, so our handyman Bear and his helper Aaron are here to help us out. They're putting down a plywood walkway to protect the grass before we begin digging up the sod in the patio space.
It's either gonna be real easy or it's gonna be a long, long day.
I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to get a significant amount up at all.
I thought 6 shovels we would knock this thing out with new
Yeah.
sod, but this is a lot more rooted than what I thought.
Yeah, I think that area got a lot of attention between the fertilizer I put down and the dogs.
Well, I can tell right now it's not gonna be an easy project removing the sod. It's time to go to the rental center.
Bring the machines.
Shed doors are usually mounted in place with surface-mounted hinges, which are great because they're nice and strong and really easy to install. The problem is they're not that secure. Even if you have a really good padlock on the door, someone could just come with a wrench and take out the screws and pull the door right off, right? So the solution is to remove one screw, as I did here, from each hinge leaf. You don't have to remove all 6, just one from this side and one from this side, and replace it with a carriage bolt. The carriage bolt works because it has a rounded head and someone can't use a wrench to take it off. I'll come back and paint that later. Let me show you what we have on the inside. Okay, so now on this side, you just put a washer and a nut. And we're gonna tighten that right up. And now you can see with the nut on this side and that nice and tight, there's no way someone could take that hinge off and bust into your shed.
We're helping Tom and Lauren upgrade their blank slate backyard. But before we add a paver patio and a pergola, we have to remove a lot of sod. While we wait for a sod cutter to arrive, we begin moving paver-based material from the driveway back to the backyard.
All
Are
right,
you proud of your wife?
there you go.
Light as a feather.
Dad, I feel like this is your contractor days coming back to you, keeping us busy moving paver base even though we haven't moved the grass yet.
It's all about efficiency, and that's perpetual motion. Everything's gotta move. You're coming and you're going, and you end up making money, and you get the project done a lot quicker.
So we can't rest.
No rest.
Finally, the sod cutter arrives to really pick up the pace.
When it came rolling down the driveway, I was like, what is that?
Dun da da da! And the angels started singing in heaven.
And just try to follow that line. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Sod cutter was a little intimidating at first, but it was actually pretty fun. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. You know, she doesn't even like to use the lawnmower
Yeah.
because it's too much.
I would say it's worth $75. You know, it's really hard to tell exactly how a yard slopes until you at least put a 2x4 and a level on it. So this is flush here
Okay.
with the concrete, but this, look at the bubble. You see how it's running that way?
Right.
Okay.
That's what we want. This will be the top of our pavers. Under that, we've got an inch of sand. Then we have the paver base. But the paver base doesn't need to be that deep. So we've got to take all of that dirt in there and bring it to the bottom of this.
I probably would have built it flat and not understood how to do the slope so that it drains properly. Danny does things the right way, and we're thrilled to learn those lessons.
I'm gonna leave this in place so that we see just kind of where we're going with it all. Well, there it goes.
Oops, sorry.
That didn't last long.
Once we have all of the soil moved to the low side of the patio, we pack it down with a plate compactor before we begin spreading the paver base.
You know, the clay that we had down before we started putting the paver base down is a great foundation material, but this is what really makes a difference. After this is compacted, I mean, it'll be just about like concrete. The pavers will be nice and flat, and they'll stay that way.
Once the paver base is roughly graded, we run the plate compactor again to compact it before we begin pouring in the sand.
So what do the pipes do?
It's basically just to make sure we have a uniform thickness. We'll get Bear and Aaron just to screed this, and behind it is ready for pavers.
Dad, screed's kind of a funny word if you've never heard it before.
Yeah, screed board is a nice straight 2x4 used by the concrete finishers all the time to level concrete, and it works just as well trying to level just about anything.
By the end of the first day, we've graded the sand over half of the patio. So early on day 2, we're ready for pavers.
Before the end of the day, all of the pavers will be done.
Awesome.
But
Okay.
you two will be doing a lot of them because we've got a pergola to build.
Yes.
So let me get you started, and first thing is to decide on exactly which pattern you want. One is what they call a running bond.
Okay.
My opinion, it's a little bit too much like the wall. Another one, which will be way too busy, is a herringbone.
Oh yeah.
What we're recommending is a good old-fashioned basket weave.
The basket weave was perfect. It has some detail to it, but isn't so busy that it overwhelmed the patio.
So we're ready for you to put your very first brick down.
We actually have a different one. We wrote our names on it this morning.
Aw.
It's Tom's idea. I thought it was such a sweet little idea. This is hopefully our forever home, so we're both very sentimental about it, and I thought it was so sweet and special.
You just want to bed it in there a little bit.
Okay.
See, I'm doing that. Now keep in mind, you see the little beveled edge?
Yep.
That goes up. Okay. You're on your own. Chelsea and I are going to go ahead and start putting in the post for the pergola.
Okay.
And we'll keep a close eye on you guys.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
There. Needs to be hit with a hammer.
Oh, okay. All right, your quality control.
Okay. And I think this is the right pattern to go with.
Absolutely. One, it's not super complicated, but two, it kind of gives it a little bit of a pop.
I thought the basket weave was perfect for us. We're beginners. It's our first time doing it, and so I think the herringbone would have looked like a jigsaw puzzle had we tried to do it by ourselves.
Using a manual pull saw is fantastic for cutting away the limbs that are, say, over your roof line, or if you just need to thin some of the trees that are in your yard. And if you're doing it manually and you have a lot, it can get exhausting, right, Dan?
Yes, it can.
But you've got a good solution for us.
I sure do. Ryobi has come out with a cordless pole saw. A couple of nice features it has. We have an 8-inch bar on it, designed to cut up to about a 6-inch limb.
Wow, that's pretty thick.
And with the extensions, if you put them all in, they will give you up to a 9.5-foot reach.
Wow, that is really neat. Now, it does run on a 40-volt rechargeable battery. You know, when professional landscapers use their pole saws, they're usually gas operated, and the reason being is they get a lot of power. But when you charge up this 40-volt battery, you're gonna get a lot of power, almost equivalent to a gasoline charge. So just pop it into place, and now you are ready to go to work.
Tom and Lauren's backyard is looking much less like a blank slate as the patio takes shape. Now it's time to add the posts for their new pergola. You know, in laying out the different posts for the pergola, I've seen people put them outside the patio so they don't have to cut around it.
It always feels like an afterthought or
Well,
something.
it looks like the patio's too small. But putting it in just a little bit, having a perimeter of pavers around it
Extends
seems
the
like the
patio.
right thing to do.
Sorry I can't help you, Dad.
I know. That pregnancy comes at a convenient time.
No, it's because post hole diggers are a one-man job.
I know, but there's 3 more holes.
I wonder what else this baby can get me out of.
I have a feeling by the time you have that baby, I'll be really happy.
Of course, because you'll have a new grandbaby.
No, I won't have to hear all of these excuses anymore. I'm hungry. I'm sleepy.
That's really just me all the time, though, Dad.
No. I got this.
Well, I carry half of it.
No. I got it. You just watch. No, I got it. You watch me.
Excuse
No.
me.
No, quit. Get quit now.
Put it on my toe. I don't know why he won't let me help him carry this post. I mean, I'm used to carrying his dead weight around.
Ain't like that.
This is the perfect application for faceting concrete.
Oh, absolutely. That way we can get the post set this afternoon, we can go ahead and build the whole thing.
After each post is set, we can lay pavers around them. Some require a little cutting, but the cuts are very simple, so we can make them with a regular circular saw outfitted with a masonry blade. Soon, the first half of the patio is complete, all of the posts are set, and we're ready for more pavers on the other side. While that work continues, I can get started cutting out the rest of the pergola.
Tom and Lauren want to stain their pergola, but the problem is right now it's pressure treated. It's got a lot of moisture in it. Normally we would stain it when it's all cut in pieces like this before we actually assembled it, but it's going to be better to wait a little while and let the sun kind of pull a little of that moisture out. To find out if it's ready, here's a great simple test. This is nothing more than just a little cap of water. You pour it on it. You see it's not soaking in at all. If water won't absorb into the fibers of the wood, neither will any type of stain that you put on it. It would look terrible. But after a few months and let the sun do its job, then they'll be able to grab a couple paint brushes and knock that stain job out in no time.
Once I finish cutting the beams, we mark the post tops so we can cut all of them the same level before we begin hanging the beams.
Okay, let me get ready with the gun. I promise not to hit more than one finger.
You know, somewhat traditional in building a pergola where you would have a larger horizontal beam. In this case, we're going to use a 2x8. Then you have 2x6s on top. There you go.
Wow, this is real, and the attention to detail that he was showing with building out the spacer and making sure that each one was spaced properly. That's when you start really seeing Danny and Chelsea's vision come together. It was really impressive to watch him work.
While we finish nailing together the pergola, Bear is installing the retaining border around the outer edge of the pavers. It's late in the day, but we decide to push through and complete the patio by adding the sand topping.
All right, so we mainly just want to use the brooms to work the sand into the joints.
That's so cool
It also covers up any flaws in the spacing, if you know what I mean.
that Tom did.
Hey.
I love this polymeric sand. Once all the joints are filled up and we apply moisture, a little bit of water, it's gonna lock together, locking the pavers in. So this patio is not going anywhere.
Everyone's busy, focused on cleaning up, and Danny said, hey guys, come watch this.
Stand right there and watch this.
And I frankly took a step back because I just didn't want a brick to hit my foot.
You might want to stick to his day job.
So Dad, why is it better to juggle 2 bricks than 3 bricks?
Well, 3 bricks is very advanced, and I haven't practiced in a while.
Overnight, Tom and Lauren stain a new swing they want to hang on the patio. So early the next morning,
This will be our finishing touches. Crepe myrtles, lots of azaleas, lots of other plants, kind of take away the rough edges we have around our patio. We got a lot of plants to plant, and not such a pretty day to do it.
while Aaron and Bear prep the planting beds, Tom and Lauren are in the garage staining a new picnic table to help furnish the patio. Meanwhile, Chelsea and I begin hanging that swing by beefing up the beam it will hang from before we install the hardware.
Whoa, too high, too high.
Is that what?
It's way too
Is it
high.
too high? Is it too high? Bear, what do you think?
Why do you need a step stool to get up on the swing, Dad?
Well, maybe it was a little high, but it's easier to adjust it down than to adjust it up. That's what it is.
Okay.
Once we add the soil amendments Sid had recommended, we're ready for planting. While Chelsea locates all of the plants according to the plans, I'm busy hanging the TV and hooking up some decorative lights. This is going to be a beautiful backyard. There wasn't anything bad to say about Tom and Lauren's backyard. There just wasn't anything to say at all. It was just a patch of grass surrounded by a fence, no character, no interest, no amenities. Now it has a completely different feel. The Paver patio has not only become a focal point in the yard, but an additional room to the house with space for relaxing and entertaining. The simple pergola we built overhead helps cement the feel of a room and offers a little shade when the weather gets hot. Not to mention a handy place to hang their brand new swing. The new landscaping that surrounds all of this softens the hard edges of the wood and concrete while it gives the area a feeling of permanence and history. So this brand new house feels like it's been here for more than just a few months.
We love it. I told Tom I was going to be outside all day, every day. Just going to be sitting outside enjoying the patio. It's so beautiful.
We're kind of envisioning having different parties and having the kids run around
Use
in the
the
backyard,
space day
use
to
the
day.
space, watch a football game out on the patio. I'll be where I just can't wait to get home from work and put the TV on and start grilling some steaks. It's awesome. We're so excited.
You know, I started thinking this neighborhood's about 2 or 3 years old. There has to be a lot of houses just like Tom and Lauren's that has just a blank slate backyard. But look what we were able to accomplish in just a few days and a little bit of hard work. It's a great before and after picture. Really hope you enjoyed seeing this one come together, and I hope you'll join us next week right here on Today's Homeowner. I'm Danny Lipford. Almost anything that I get in my hands like a tool, I just feel like flipping it.
You gotta flip it.
Yeah, I got in trouble with a wheelbarrow one time doing that. Tom and Lauren would like to stain their pergola. Did I make her laugh? She can't even breathe, she's laughing so hard.
Next week, we're helping a homeowner create a family room with character.
Never contradict your dad.
Always contradict your dad. I gotta keep you on your toes, Dad. Faceting concrete is perfect for these posts.
Oh, it's
What's got into you?
Wow, I didn't know. The words didn't come out right then.
I would say not.